Hey guys, so this is the first video in a new daily series I'm going to be doing. So one of my goals for 2020 is just to become a lot more fluent in PO, I guess, and just to become a lot better understanding GTO and just how to play certain spots optimally, I guess. So what I'm going to be doing here, I'm going to be making a video every single day. I wanted to do a video with this rather than just kind of doing this by myself because I feel like it'll give me more accountability to stick with this throughout the year and to not allow myself to have days off or to be lazy basically. So I'm gonna make a video every single day, and this is what it's gonna look like. So I have different categories for flops here: flush draw with high cards, high draw potential. I got this idea from this site right here called pokerscientist.com. I literally just got a subscription to this yesterday. It's $40 a month. Not sure how great it is, but there's a guy I follow on Instagram who made a post about this and it seemed interesting, so I decided to check it out. So you basically just like select two positions that are going to be playing against each other here, select the action. Uh, this loads up. This isn't very relevant to the video. Um, This is just, I'm kind of showing you guys this if you might be interested. So it's basically showing a middle position open to 2.5 and then the big blind strategy against that. It's calling 83% of its hands here and raising 17% of the time, and it gives you the frequencies and the like what hands are doing what. So pretty cool. Um, but when we go here to select the flop, this is where I saw that they have. This is one of the big flaws with this software too. Is you can only pick from these flops. So like these are 25 flops that are supposed to represent most of the game, I guess, or like best represent all flops. Um, so it's kind of dumb that you can only pick from these. So it's like the studying you can do from it is very capped, very limited. But I like how they have these in different categories: flush draw with high draw potential, low draw potential, medium draw potential with high card, medium draw potential without high card, and then paired boards. So I'm going to use the same categories for uh, my own studying here, and just to see if over time patterns start to emerge for these different boards. Um, and just to make some connections, help me improve faster potentially. I don't know. So every single day is going to be um, covering a new spot probably. I'm going to rotating. So this is going to be middle position versus big blind. And then what we're doing here is we have our board. So we're gonna do one flop for each category per day. So we already have the flops we're gonna be doing in here today. And so here are the predictions I'm gonna be making before looking at these hands in PO. So we're gonna predict the imposition equity, the preferred strategy for position, and then the big blinds check raise frequency. Uh, and then we're gonna predict what combos big blinds check raising with, and then our turn predictions, basically what we're doing with each turn card, assuming a bet call flop, unless the preferred strategy for the board is range check. Then we'll make turn predictions for the board going range check, essentially. And then we have the actual results on the flop and turn for the sim. So for each of these boards, I already have like an aggregate report set up right here, so we can see the preferred strategy for each of these flops. We have a 33 mix, 66 mix. These are all just boards and aggregate reports, and these flops that I picked here, I chose from the aggregate report, so we already have those sims done and can pull them up quickly. Um, yes, this is what the aggregate report looks like. This one I compared. This was a range bet, and PO had the option to choose 33 or 66 for the sizing. Um, so what I did in here is if this ended up being the best option, then I actually went into PO and saw if it preferred out of a 33% pot bet or 66, which of these it liked more. So even though the preferred or the best strategy here is a 66 mix, you can simplify this board to a range bet, but prefers to just bet 33 when you look at it closer in PO. So this is basically what we're going to be doing for the studying. I'm not sure how long this video is going to go, so feel free to throw this on 1.5x speed, 2x speed if you are interested and want to check this out. But yeah, these are going to be daily. So just the plan is throughout the course of the year to become really familiar with this stuff, just get really good quick. So when I'm, at the tables playing, it just becomes a lot easier for me, and I just don't have to do so much, just doing the work off the tables. So when I'm on the tables, things just are easier, basically. So here we'll make some predictions. On King Jack 4, imposition equity, I'm assuming, is going to be pretty high, so we'll say like 57. Preferred strategy for imposition is likely going to be 33 range bets, 33% pot range bet. And the big blind check raise frequency probably isn't going to be super high here. We'll guess like 12%. And I assume, like, I don't know, it's very possible I'll make a lot of mistakes with these initial predictions, because at this current point in time, I'm very novice in PO. Like, I haven't done a PO work up to this point, so the whole reasoning for this is just to improve there over time. So the big blind flop check raise combo predictions. So King Jack, I assume is going to be 100, or at least like we'll say very high frequency. I'm actually going to make this smaller. Go even smaller. So King Jack is going to be very high frequency. Queen 10. Well, we'll say Queen 10 and so I guess I can do like a Queen 10 with flush draw. Is going to be very high. Queen 10 no flush draw is going to be at some frequency. With a spade, I'm assuming it's going to be the highest frequency raise. So we'll just say like high with spade. Other check raises here, King 4, King 4, Jack 4. If that's in the big blind defending range here, I'm actually not sure about that. Let's see. Jack 4 suited is not in the big blind defending range here. Okay. People still, I'm sure, will show up with this hand at some frequency, but won't put it in there for now. And then obviously pocket 4s are going to be high frequency. Say high for Queen 10 no flush draw. We'll say high with spade, low without spade. I expect like just all the combo draws to be high frequency. So like the 10-9 of spades and Queen 9 of spades, Queen 10 of spades. Hands like this, I'm expecting. Ace 10 of spades, potentially. Although I don't know how much that wants to raise, but combo draw is going to be high frequency. And what other raises do we have here? Probably like some, just some, like, I don't know if Queen 9's ever going to be raising here. It just doesn't seem like a spot where big blind's going to have too much raising going on just because of how much equity imposition has on this board. So let's see, we have King Jack, Queen 10 with flush draw, Queen 10, high with spade, low without spade, Queen 4 4 4. This might make up close to 12%. I actually feel like this is probably going to be a little bit higher. Change our prediction to 14 maybe. See, turn predictions. So on King Jack 4, we'll say on 2 and 3. Well, first we'll say any flush card is going to be small bets on turn / check. Yeah, so I know just generally when flushes complete on the turn, it uncaps big blind, so basically only using small sizings, and by I mean like 75% pot. We're not going to be over betting on any flush card turns generally. So small bet is usually it's either like 75% or 150 are the two sizings I generally am using for these sims. So any flush cards gonna be a small bet on turn or check. 2 and 3 here. Like this is just I'm so such a noob in PO right now, so these predictions could end up being completely wrong. But I think it's gonna be low frequency betting, but polarizing. So on the 2 and 3, big blind is still capped on these cards. Like if he's not raising the flop, he's just calling. It seems like a fine spot to polarize. No straights come in or anything. And this is honestly probably the same for 2 and 3 / this is probably the same for 2 and 3, 5 through 9. Low frequency bet, polarizing. On a 4, it's going to be low frequency. Low frequency bets. And I guess probably when we are betting, it's going to be a smaller size. And yeah, again, this smaller sizing is like the 75% pot here. So now we look at 10. So ace queen gets there, queen 9 gets there. Big blind improves to some 2 pairs. I mean, it's probably a high equity card. I mean, it definitely is a high equity card for imposition here, so it's sure it's going to be high frequency. High frequency betting and mixing the sizings. This is a mix between 75 and 150. So just going through this is going a lot slower than I initially anticipated. So definitely would throw this on like a 1.5x or 2x speed for sure, if you guys are interested. Or you can just fast forward to the end to see the results. I'll like go back through everything again quick, but make this smaller. Okay. So any flush cards, small bet on turn. 2 and 3, 5 to 9 is low frequency bet, but we're polarizing. 4 is low frequency, smaller sizing. 10 is high frequency with a mix. Jack, I'm thinking is probably gonna be similar to a 4 here, just because it kind of uncaps villain. So lower frequency, and we're gonna be using the 75 sizing. It could be a mix though. I think it is probably so. If it's a low frequency. If we're gonna bet, I doubt we're over betting. Just doesn't make sense unless we have a jack ourselves. But yeah, so I don't think P is gonna be doing that. And for this 10, I feel like queen and ace is gonna be very similar here. So we'll say 10/queen/ace. It's gonna be high frequency betting, and we're gonna be mixing our sizings, I'm sure. Just because those cards do uncap villain, but they're also just so good for imposition range. Or they do uncap big blind, some holdings. So jack's low frequency, 75 sizing. Do I have everything here? Oh, king. And king is probably going to be the same as jack, would be my guess. Okay, so we'll look at the results now in PO for this one. File, load recently used tree. I'll just have to load it up here. So on this board, king of spades, jack of diamonds, 4 of spades, king of spades, jack of diamonds, 4 of spades. Our preferred strategy is to just range bet 33%, which I feel like is going to be common on these higher boards. And so that's just relevant because I'm going to pick this 33 mix strategy now. Although, if I'm range betting here, this is going to be the sim I want. So I don't know how skewed the results of this are going to be, just because in the sim I have a 1/3 pot c-bet sizing and a 2/3 pot rather than just a 1/3. So I'm not sure how much that is going to skew my results here, but we'll take a look. I don't think the EV of so yeah, range betting, the EV is close enough to 66 mix, it seems. So yeah, just for simplification, range betting here. And pull a PO. So here it is. Okay. So your strategy in position is betting third pot with everything. You can see the darker it is here, the more it prefers a 1/3 sizing. I don't think any of these hands prefer 2/3 pot bet. It doesn't look like it. So yeah, definitely. Oh, here pocket 4s slightly favors a larger sizing, which makes sense. Bottom set not blocking calling range, but everything else. So just a range bet here seems fine. And first, let's check in position. Equity is pretty damn high here, so pull up the Word documents. Whoops. Not sure what's going on here, but This is weird. Okay. So flop results, it's actually 60% equity. Preferred strategy, I guess, would be a 33 range bet. It was 33 range bets. And the big blind check raise frequency. I don't know if it's because this video is getting long, but my PC is just so fucking slow right now. Okay, so wow, actually check raising 19%, so I was pretty far off on my prediction. I guess 14, and it's surprisingly high, honestly. And so our check raise combo predictions, we had the King Jack, Queen 10 combo draws, King 4 and 4s. So let's take a look here. So Queen 10, even without the combo draw, is raising pretty often here. Queen 10 off with a spade is much higher frequency than without a spade, which we did predict. Surprised to see even Queen 10 of hearts and clubs raising so much here. There's not much of an EV difference, but pocket fours and another a thing or a grouping of hands I did miss are these bottom pair holdings. I didn't mention these in my prediction, but that makes sense. Pocket jacks, I guess big blind, yeah, it does have jacks in the range at some frequency. King jack, ace queen. Ace queen with a spade raising so much from the big blind makes sense. Ace king when they have it is 100% frequency. King queen here when big blind has it. King queen off. Raising more with the queen of spades than without makes sense. This is another combo I missed in my prediction, so I actually did a pretty terrible job with predicting check raises. King 10 with the backdoor draws raising. Ace 10 combo draw is raising. Look at more of these combo draws. Jack 9 not doing much raising. Spades, I raise these at a very high frequency from like the pair and flush draw hands. 10-9 combo draw 100% frequency. Queen 9 100% frequency. Ace 9 very high frequency. So a lot of the ace high draws raising at almost 100% frequency here. Some of these lower draws are getting in there. Okay. Interesting. So what else do we have to look at here? Yeah, so I was a bit low on my predictions for the check raise. I missed these smaller fours that are going to be raising at some frequency. Definitely preferring to have a backdoor draw with these, or at least, yeah, with the all these are preferring 7-4 doesn't care as much. King 4 actually not a pure raise, top bottom pair. King Jack is basically a pure raise, but King 4 is not calling just as often as it's raising. Unless with diamonds it's raising much more frequently. 10-9. So 10 out of diamonds raising. So okay. So we were in the ballpark here. Close enough. Now turn results. Interesting to see how we did here. So bet call. And we'll just put out like a 6 of hearts. And we will pull this up. Strategy. Okay. What's going on here? So we'll pull this up next to our predictions. So turn predictions, any flush card, small bet on the turn or check. So any spade here. We actually do have 3 sizings. So it's not just 75 and 150 on the turn in this, and we also gave in position the option to bet 33%. So the light red here is this is a 33% bet. The slightly darker is a 75% bet, and this dark red is a 150% pot bet. Spectar predictions. Any flush cards, small bet on turn / check, which there's the only card where there's some overbetting going on really is the Jack of Spades, which does pair that Jack. So interesting there. I'm going to take a look and see what hands specifically are betting so large. I guess all of in positions Jack X is going to want to bet big and boats and shit. Let's actually take a look at this. What am I trying to do here? Here we go. So, Control H, strategy. Okay. Jack of Spades. Okay, so our boats are using the sizing. Okay. Ace 10 with a spade blocker is going big. Interesting that ace jack. Okay, I guess with the flush getting there. Okay, so nut flush is overbetting on this card. Queen high flush is overbetting on this at some frequency, mixing in all three sizings, but some overbetting. Ace queen with the ace of spades, overbetting at 100% frequency basically. Ace jack at some frequency, but also using the smaller size. And ace 10. This is surprising to me that ace jack is. Although I guess if you're up against a flush and it's tough to polarize. But ace queen versus ace jack. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Because ace queen, it's just a bluff, but ace jack, you have some value here. Ace 10 is overbet bluff. Ace 9 the same. Ace 9 off from MP, I guess. Yeah, that is open at some frequency. I don't know if I open ace 9 off from MP. I don't think I do generally. Queen 10 with a spade. Wants to overbet. Okay. So I guess we were technically wrong here. So there is one spade where overbetting is the thing, and it's when this jack brings in all these boats and nut flush draws for imposition. So sixes with a spade. Okay. So these lower hands we are choosing to bluff with. Basically any of these lower pairs that have a spade. 5, 6s. 7s without the diamond at a pretty high frequency. 8s not so much. 9, 8 of spades. Interesting. Okay. So we'll pull the hotness chart back up and look at the rest of our predictions. So any flush card, this is true for we're betting small, and in here the 75% bet was considered a small bet. So this is true for basically all these cards. The higher spades coming in preferred 33% pot bet compared to any larger bet. And then 2 and 3, 5 through 9, we guessed would be a low frequency bet, but we're polarizing. And I actually missed here on this 9. It does complete the straight, so this is more so 2 and 3, 5 through 8, and then 9 is going to be in its own category. All these cards here we can put in the same category basically, because none of them, they're all low cards that aren't completing a straight or flush on the board, so aren't improving any of villain's draws, really. And yeah, like very limited in the 2 pairs that these turns are going to give him. So can polarize in these spots because they leave big blind capped, basically. It's just like what I'm making this assumption based off of. So low frequency, which I guess less than 50%, like it's still a decently high frequency, 43%, 42%. The 4 is a low frequency, but I predicted 75% sizing. There's actually a decent amount of overbetting going on a 4, but mixing with 75%. 5 through 8, only using the overbet sizing, basically. Still checking the majority of the time here. So our predictions were pretty good for the most part. 10, queen, and ace. High frequency bet and mixing the sizings was my prediction. That's like it is somewhat high of a frequency, but not as high as I would have expected. So 10, we're checking just about half the time, and when we are betting, we're using a 75% pot bet. Not much over betting on the 10, and I guess this is just because of the straights I get there, uncapping the big blind. Queen is the same exact thing as a 10 here, basically. Checking over half the time, and when we do bet, we're using the 75% pot. Kings. So any king, we're betting at a pretty high frequency, mixing between 30%, 33%, and 75%. And then using a lot more small betting on the ace. So the ace coming in completes queen 10. So does uncap the big blind. So no overbetting really. And it's mixing 75 and 33. So I wonder if in his turn results I can just take a screenshot of this and see if it'll paste in there cleanly or not. Let's see. Oh, there we go. It's really slow. I guess like the screen recorder is hurting this. So this is gonna be king of spades, jack of diamonds, 4 of spades, in position, turn, strategy, save. Okay. And this will be nice if I could just have this fit in this box. Doubt it'll work, but yeah, I kind of figured, oh, this actually doesn't look that bad. Just gotta condense it a bit more. Now, do I have the ability to click on this and make it bigger? If I wanted to just like analyze it. Style. It's just so small. I feel like this is better to have in there than just like typing. If I had the ability to make this larger, like if I could click on, I don't know. It's fine for now. This is just such a long video, so probably gonna just stop this one here for the first one to prevent this from being an hour long. But yeah, I'll be a lot quicker with the next ones, and this is just an example of what I'm going to be doing, just to give myself a better picture of how PO is playing all these spots. Um, and hopefully over time we'll pick up some patterns across different boards and different spots, and just slowly will start to improve my understanding of the game in different situations and stuff. So wanted to show this to you guys. Going to be posting something daily. I just want to have something to hold myself accountable to, so that I'm not being lazy taking days off. I want to make sure I get a video out daily, um, and it's really just for myself and anyone interested in this. Um, I'm definitely gonna get faster as time progresses. I feel like this first one took a long ass time. I don't even know how long the video's been running, but feels like a while. Um, so we'll shut it down here, and the next video I'll just finish um, the other 5 spots here, and we'll move through it much faster. But this was also kind of an introduction to what I'm gonna be doing. So um, yeah, thanks for checking this out. Any feedback on this is greatly appreciated. Um, yeah, and we'll have another video tomorrow. Thanks for checking this out.